Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to the Sassy and Savage podcast. I am your host, Andrew Coley, aka LIP Lord _905 on all your platforms. Welcome to our wonderful little show we have today. And on today's podcast, wonderful show, details. We got ourselves a fashion icon in the building. A young lady, lovely young lady from the north side of Brampton. She's actually one of those people who take their time with their craft. She's actually somebody who built her brand from scratch. Didn't ask for a handout, didn't take much. She went straight to fashion school, understood her craft, and wanted to build something great. Tonight on the show, ladies and gentlemen, we got the Shrice Apparel in the building! And to my right, my lovely new co-host,
Lexi and Samuels on Instagram as well, on all platforms.
And our guest today.
Hello, my name is Shrice Shillingford, representing Rice Apparel. Hey!
And you already know, our moderator in the back, he like to play like he don't want to say something. You act like because they knew you're trying to be silent and mysterious and shit. Like, what the fuck is this bullshit?
She's like, hello.
Like, this nigga straight up was trying to look like a supervillain or some shit. Like, hello. Exit.
Yes, Mr. Boy. I'm still here. Your boy Rohan. Mr. Remarkable on some, Rizzings on others. You know where to find me.
Alright, and on today's show, we're going to be talking about fashion, life, the industry, how to get it in and doing all this stuff. So today, as I said, we're introducing our, she's actually a good friend of mine. Like, I've known her for a few years. I've watched her build this brand. So I'm the wrong person to ask questions today because I will just ask her about some personal shit that she ain't ready to answer. So we're going to turn this over to my co-host, and she's going to ask you a few questions. And, I'm going to sprinkle a couple of, isms in the background. So.
Alright, Shrice, the first thing I want to tell you is congratulations on the 2020 Brampton Fashion Week that you've been attending to, that you've been a part of for the past few years. So I want to say that. I also want to ask you, how did you come up with the Rice Apparel name for yourself?
Well, my name is spelled S-H Rice, so I ended up needing to change my company name really quick because for whatever reason, I named it after my ex, and we broke up. So I was like, I gotta change up and switch up my brand a bit and personalize it more, which it should have always been about me.
That's for sure.
And I just pretty much just took the SH off, and I decided to make it I just wanted to at one point just be rice.
Pure rice.
No, you know what it is? It's because she's Trini and she figured that the rice is a good pot to start with.
Rice
That's what it is.
Rice is a good base.
Is it a good base for anything?
Rice is a natural food accessory. So you might as well run with it. Rice is like chicken and rice.
Extra.
Beef and rice.
What inspired you, or who inspired you actually to go forward with fashion overall?
To be honest, I've always been into creating stuff. When I was a little kid, I used to hand sew Barbie clothes and stuff. So when I was growing up, I really just wanted to be a painter, and my art was not that good. So I was I need to create stuff that I could still, at the end of the day, be creative and make money and work for myself. So the first thing that came to mind was fashion. And I was super discouraged when I started off in college and stuff. Yeah. But it was just something I was in school seeing girls make these blazers and dresses, and I'm I want to do that. I'm better than that, what
so you just had an exhibition page and be fresher than the next chick. That's what it is.
Listen, man, I
respect that, because 2/3 of the girls I went to high school with didn't have no goddamn fashion sense. They just thought that reading a magazine was putting something together.
Exactly.
So the fact that you had a brain, and I've known you since time. I remember Tiny Tim days when your brother used to be playing hockey and shit in the morning. So you've always had a brain on your shoulders, and you always had actually a goal. So talk to me about taking the steps of coming from where we come from, and the struggle of being in a household with so much obstacle in front of you and actually achieving your goal.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's always about staying focused. Sometimes you see people do certain things, and you're just even if it's someone you're meant to look up to, you're just I want to do better and different. I just want to be on my own path. People are okay, you should have gone to school for something. Maybe that would have gotten you a job right away, nursing or something, and I see people get jobs just to make money and they're never happy. And I would never be happy being a nurse, let's just say.
No, it's always
being a robot. No, I get you.
It's always good.
Exactly. That's a good definition. I would never be happy being a robot. Any job where it's like, okay, yeah, I'm good at it and I make a lot of money, but I'm never creating anything. I'm not impacting anybody's life. I would never be happy doing that. And like growing up, like it really didn't matter what anybody else was doing. My focus was to like do a job that made me happy when I grew up, you know? Like I didn't ever want to be miserable going to work every day.
So you're driven by like leaving a mark. You want to kind of
inspire other
Yeah.
people, inspire basically society, and show people different types of fashions, just so that other people could express themselves in different ways, even express themselves in ways that you see fashion as well. So it's kind of like a taste of your style, in a sense, is what you're aiming for.
Definitely.
Makes sense. So why did you start seeing yourself taking like a path in fashion designing?
I don't even know when. It was definitely when I was a kid, you know. I was always making little costumes for dress up and like little like Barbie.
So your Barbies was fresh.
My Barbies were so fresh, and I was fresh, you know.
Like, I'm trying to say, so you had the co-ed match. You were the kid walking in with the fresh Barbie cut, and you had the outfit for yourself. I see you all.
Even in high school, I went to Catholic school, and I was always wearing a uniform, so there was like that dress down day. I had to be fly.
So you were Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. You were the one coming in there messing with all day fashion and shit. That's why black kids, every time we go to Catholic schools, they be looking at us different.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we only get those, like, you know, one opportunity a month to dress up.
Bart, I went to St. Thomas Aquinas. I remember.
Yep.
Shout out Aquinas. We remember.
I've been to Catholic school myself, so I know the feels. I know it. Trust me.
Shout out No Panty Day at Aquinas. What a great day.
DeVille over here.
Yo, a great day.
That was like a uniform day.
That was a great day. That's all I'm saying. Shout out to St. Thomas Aquinas. God damn it. That was some early fond memories.
Do you have any role models in fashion right now?
I wouldn't say that I have any role models in particular. Like, I really do like the work that Alexander McQueen has done. He's passed away, obviously, now. I still like what they're coming out with, how they're still trying to, like, keep the same theme and the same focus as to what he was doing when he was alive. So, like, other than that, I see other designers and I'm driven by, like, what they're doing and their drive. Like, I'm more inspired by people who, let's say, are not as famous and how they're pushing their work forward and how they're growing, more so than just looking towards people who already have their big brand working off of somebody else's work, you know. Like, at the end of the day, when I look at Alexander McQueen's work, he's passed on now and there's other people pushing his work and his brand, and I love what he did when he was around, but like, he's not around anymore, so it's just other people
trying to
pushing
rehash
it
his
forward.
ideas.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I more look towards people who are already starting out, you know.
As a
That
queen,
makes more sense.
as a queen in this community, and as a black woman in this community, and you see in the fashion stance changing on its head right now. We see a lot of brands and a lot of labels trying to basically do the whole handout philosophy, as I like to call it. I actually see like a person like Virgil Abloh taking over Louis and changing their face literally overnight because like they went from a commercial couture label to basically being an urban fashion house now. How do you see that influence of urban design influencing culture moving forward towards fashion? Do you see runways basically becoming urban outlets, or do you see the fashion industry still sticking to its ways?
I think the fashion industry could never stick to its ways anyways because of society and how things are going right now. Like, you can only make so much money doing couture. Everybody's like at home, you know. You gotta, it has to change over to something everyone can relate to. Like, even me right now, I'm trying to work on my brand and change it up a bit because at the end of the day, who's going out?
Yeah.
Like, even the people who are like rich and famous, like, their parties aren't even really that much parties. So.
Well, ideally, it's going to be a temporary thing, but you know, there's always room for innovation. So, like,
I hope to God it's temporary. Goddammit, don't put no jinx on this shit.
I mean, like, as temporary as Corona may be, like, how much do you think crowds are going to increase? I don't.
They're not. Like, let's be honest. The first year.
Much.
Like, I think the first year after this whole entire thing, it's still going to be a dead arc.
Yeah,
Like, there's not going to be no bounce back of like, social enterprise as a whole is dead for the next 2 years.
Yeah.
You're not going to see any tours. You're not going to see any, like, you actually incorrect because America acts like this shit didn't go down because if you look in Florida right now, they wildin'. Like,
I know.
Like, Texas, they just open up everything. So,
like nothing's going on.
it's not necessarily, it's just areas, right? And I think the climax of this whole entire process that we're dealing with had an effect. Whereas if you didn't have your brand right, or you didn't have your business, or you didn't think about your brand in the next couple of years, you're failing because you're scrambling right now, not knowing what to do. Whereas people like yourself are, like you said, you wanted to restructure. You're using this time to restructure. You're not using this time to sit on your hands and go, oh crap, I don't know what the hell to do the next step. You're saying, screw that. We need to do something different. And that is to be commended in the sense that at least the new next generation and the people who are coming up in this actually had their head on their shoulders and seen a path of the way out. Like they're using this as a way out. They're using it to change their brands or changing the way they do business. Like, so I see and I commend you about that.
I even seen like wedding dress companies. A new trends coming out is like short dresses. Because people can't have big weddings like as much anymore. Like even though you're saying it's an area thing, a lot of those areas are like up north. So it's a large amount of the area that's just shut down. So a lot of people who want to get married and stuff, the fashion industries, they're changing how they have wedding dresses and how people celebrate, and everything's like a shorter trim, like easier fitting kind of look. Like
everything's opportunities, right? So it's not really saying that the world's changed and it's never going to be the same, right? Certain things will bounce back, but as stipulated, this is a perfect opportunity to see how the market's responding, because that's fashion. As much as fashion influences like society influences fashion, right? It's a response to it. So as long as you're innovative enough to be like, hey, you know what? Let me just change up my look or adapt to the needs. You should be golden.
Hey, it's pink. It's pink one summer, red the next summer, white one. So all you got to do is just know to change them colors quick.
Speaking of different, also, are you even looking into possibly doing different types of clothing, like swimwear or like fitness, maybe even, or urban, instead of
check that Instagram. She's already on that swim. She's already on that swimsuit vibe. She was already on that swimsuit vibe.
Well, yeah, I did start off doing swimwear, and I tried to do a little bit of lingerie too. At one point, I literally have dabbled in everything because right now I'm doing like custom work, but I'm trying to steer away from it and do like more online orders. So I'm gonna be doing like casual like hoodie dresses and like make my own leggings with like lace ups on the sides for girls and lace up like t-shirt in the back.
You're gonna have to cop some.
I'm gonna do like a workout.
Whatever makes the booty look good, I support. Whatever helps lift.
The leggings will support.
Whatever helps lift, subtract, hold that all in and keeping it tight, I support. I support. You have a number one fan on this side.
100% it'll be booty flattering.
Hallelujah.
It'll be like a corset for the lower end.
Hallelujah.
Definitely.
Mr. Burns' voice. Excellent.
I'm done. How do you stay up like with the trends, or do you feel like you can make your own type of trend, like your own?
Honestly, Instagram really helps a lot with the keeping up with the trends, but like really, I try to add my own flair to everything. It's always good to have just like a little spice of your own flavor, but also keep in mind like what everybody is trying to get.
That's true. But it's also good to expand your horizons as well and like go with trends like that you feel like creative trends that comes up in your head, because also it can help other people, you know, expand on what you like as well. So because normally clothing, like fashion, it also speaks on your personality.
Definitely.
Speaks on who you are. So it'll be good to even expand your horizons as well. Not only also follow the trends, but to, you know, have your creative ideas as well. So that's good. But yeah.
So my real question is, you getting that damn vaccine?
No. Are you getting the vaccine? I would never.
Oh hell no! I mean, here's the thing. I mean, I'll practically at some point in time, like I've had vaccines because we're Jamaican, and when you cross that damn border, they give you that ugly ass shot that murdered your hand. So, like. We've had vaccines before. The problem I have with it is that I don't know how this group of vaccines are going to actually affect the human body because there's not enough time.
I'd rather superpowers. That's what it is.
I'd rather sit my ass down for the next 2 to 3 years and not travel and keep myself close and focus on myself and let the rest of the world experiment with itself and then see how shit works out. Because if they're just telling me all I gotta do is get a corona test to travel, and guess what? A nigga's getting poked in the nose every time. Like they stick that shit shit in your thoughts. Like I have had a bunch of tests.
Yeah.
Like when they poke that damn thing, it's in the
your
back of your
nose.
brain, bro. Like you can smell what you had for breakfast 6 weeks before. Like they are seriously poking in the back of your thoughts. But I'd rather that than a vaccine that can change my RNA.
Yeah.
Like the whole entire process for me. I mean, it is just a flu vaccine if you really want to think about it. But the reason why I'm so apprehensive to this is I've only got one flu vaccine in my entire life, and it changed my body afterwards. I'm normally a high energy person at night, and usually I would get a lot of sleep generally.
Yeah.
But after that vaccine, I find myself depleted and still awake, and like it majorly affected my body when I took it. So I've never since around the age of 18 or 17,
Yeah.
I don't get sick. Like because I'm always active and I take care of my immunity and I really
That's
go
good.
ham on like the tea, you know. Like I'm a Jamaica, single Bible and juice and everything. You know what I say? Anything else,
Not
I
even-
love a root juice and all of the thing that we have drink for a long time.
Not even the
Me-
ginger.
Yo, ginger tea, I can shower, I drink that. But all the things that outside that matter, like here's my rule in Duncan. Like if you're from the hood, you ain't gotta worry about coronavirus. The reason why is because like literally we come from dirty spots. We come from the hood. We come from the trenches, and literally our bodies, we have immune systems, fam. And that's my problem with this whole thing. You're asking a whole entire group of people to literally have no immune system and just be free with this shit. So for me, yeah, like my son, I more have to worry about him because I don't have a choice when it comes to him. For him to go to school or for him to go talk to somebody is a different thing. Now for you mysteries, for you being a person that has to travel to promote your line. What if they tell you tomorrow morning you have to have a vaccine to get on a plane or to move you have a big meeting with somebody in Milan to basically set up your fashion line for the next 5 years. You have to leave. What do
What
you
did
do?
you do?
I'm really sorry to say this, like where people can see this, but if they're making it mandatory for everyone to get a vaccine, there's somebody out there with a forged document that I can get.
So when you say bundle paperwork is always available. I am dead.
And now you've been blacklisted.
That's just not happening. I don't know, man.
She gets to the airport, it's like, ma'am, we need you to wait over there.
So,
You saw that
so
episode,
from
didn't you?
recent reports, we've seen you on a Sassy and Sandwich episode. We'd like to have a few words with you, ma'am.
What are your goals moving forward, though? Like, do you have any plans, any future plans for your fashion designing right now?
Right now, I'm working on putting together a website so I can just easily access more sales from customers and just have like a couple standard looks come out, like the athletic looks for women and like some hoodies for men, some like nice velvet t-shirts, so people can just purchase my stuff online and get them. And I can like just cut down on the custom work because I just feel like my company would be a lot more stable if like it's like click buy.
Basically, what she's trying to say is she's tired of dealing with all y'all nagging ass women be trying to change sizes and shit in the middle of the order. Can you put a ruffle right here, bitch? The goddamn design is the way you asked for it. Like, I'm just talking for inner Shrice right now because I can see that frustration in her head.
So you're actually thinking of just cutting out customs period, or just only with selective few things?
If the bag is right.
You know, I'm trying to ease away from completely cutting it off, but like I do like the custom work that I do, so I'm still gonna do runway shows, and like I would like my website to be like I have these looks, you know, you order them, and then there's a section on my website where you can order runway looks, you know.
Makes sense.
Might be a good idea to do
Yeah.
spit off.
Sure, hold on, shut up. Let's just not glance over the fact that you got yourself an entire collection and one of the first people I know in the city to actually get your collection. And you were, you were out and you actually did. You actually were featured in the Brampton Guardian for actually putting in some mask work and actually making designer masks. I want you to talk about that. I want you to talk about capitalizing in this Rona times and how you found a way to capitalize while going through this pandemic.
Honestly, when everything started, I was great. I was working and I was making my own face masks, so I was charging like $20 each face mask because people were trying to order them online, and they had like, I think it's the N9. What are those masks?
N95.
The N95.
Yeah, nobody can get those. They're like back ordered. So like when I was making money with the mask sales, it was crazy. Like it was super worth it. Then as soon as people could actually get a mask, like my sales started to slow down.
Oh my god.
I honestly think the key to success is just finding something people just are having a hard time getting and just capitalize on that.
Supply and demand.
Supply, demand, and
Yeah,
diversify.
like, It has actually helped me get customers that I never had before.
Mm-hmm.
Even though like I'm not selling as many masks, people come to me for everything, like because I'm doing custom work. So let's say someone bought a mask from me when like everything was busy. They follow me on Instagram. They see I make more stuff. They like want to order a sweater, a hoodie, get their pants tailored, whatever, you know.
Yes.
It's really brought in a lot of business for me.
So do you have any advice for any other upcoming fashion designers?
Definitely.
Stay out my way, motherfuckers.
No.
I will crush you.
I would never say stay out of my way. I definitely think I can't make all the clothes in the world. But yeah, stay
So just
motivated.
stay out of my lane.
Stay motivated.
Like Medea would say, I'm gonna stomp on you if you get in my way, motherfucker.
Stay motivated. You're gonna want to quit like every day, and people are gonna rip you off, and you're gonna miss out on opportunities. And if you really want something, you have to keep doing it, no matter what, no matter how discouraged you are, and like how you're saying, like it's important to put your identity in your brand. It's very important to keep in mind that this is about what you want and stay focused.
Exactly.
Talk to me about being a queen in this industry and being like a young black lady and having to actually deal with because you probably have to deal with a lot of negotiations from
Yeah.
people who are not in this country. You got to actually get materials, products and stuff. Like talk to me about you being a young black woman and actually having to assert yourself in this business, because I know there's not a lot of people like you. So please tell me about that journey.
I feel like there's a lot of people like me out there. I know a lot of black women who are doing the exact same thing that I'm doing. It's hard to be taken seriously sometimes, especially when
Very
people
much
are
so.
like, where's your store?
No,
A lot of people have like,
so you're good.
yeah, a lot of people have seen like my page and they naturally assume I like have a store and have a team, and it's just me. So
Hey,
like,
That's good.
Hey, no, but
So,
the assumption leads to more things. Like I like the fact that you put out so
Yeah.
much work that people now assume that there's this big team behind you. Let them keep assuming that.
Exactly.
I love it, but at the end of the day, it puts a lot of pressure on me because I've had people be like, okay, well, I need you to do a styling job,
Mhm.
and I need it like in 2 days, and I
Yeah.
need all these clothes, and I'm like, oh, I gotta make some of these clothes.
Like, woman, you didn't realize that line was in here? Like,
And then I started making them because I'm somebody who, if you give me an opportunity, I'm gonna run with it, you know. So I'll stay up all night.
I'm a
sewing.
hustler,
I'll
baby.
be there for 3 days sewing. I don't care.
So have you ever thought of like getting a team soon enough for 2021 or like even in the future? Not at all.
To be honest with you, I have tried to like work with other people. I would love a team, but it's not really something that I'm 100% pushing. Like at the end of the day, when it comes to business, you need to find people you mesh well
Yeah.
with, and I haven't been able to find somebody who I can mesh well with business-wise, and it's a very like sensitive thing,
It is.
you know.
Yeah.
Like you gotta
Especially
think
when
about it
you're
this
being
way.
creative.
When you're building a brand or you're being and to be creative in any space, the people who are beside you, especially if you're the brain of that operation,
Yeah.
need to think like they're an appendage. They need to be able to be autonomous of yourself. Like
Exactly.
when your brain says something, you don't think that you need to move your hand. You just move your
You
hand
just-
naturally
yeah.
and it goes. And I understand what you're saying because business is so hard to find. People want to assert their own vision into your brand
yeah.
rather than actually doing what's best for the brand. So I completely understand like what that's like to actually try to assert your brand. So my advice to you on that sense is wait for somebody who's actually in love with your brand more than you are.
More than you.
Once you find somebody who's like they're obsessed with your brand, then put that person to work. Because that person will find any way they can to fit in. Whether, even if it's not a position that you think they're qualified for, they will find a way to fix themselves into that position because they're so much more in love with what you've created than what they can reap the benefit from.
Exactly.
That's the only advice I give on that.
They could even help with ideas, pitching in as well. That would help you.
Mhm.
When you have people that are really dedicated to your brand, that would help a lot. It would further things even more far. So,
I
look into that.
hear you completely. I've had a lot of people come and really, instead of giving suggestions, like make decisions, you
Yeah.
know? So it's a little bit like, when it comes to running a company, I'm a very nice person. I know how I'm coming off right now, but I am very nice.
You're
So like, it's kind of hard for me to say no to people sometimes, especially if we start doing business together and you're like, hey, like let's say I wanted to design the top you have on right now.
Yeah.
and the person I'm working with is like, oh, I think it would look better with like hearts on it with a white background. And I'm like, was it Valentine's Day every day? Like, people,
Some people like hearts.
people like they want to force their opinions on you, and sometimes they're just not going with what you really want.
Yeah, like
The vision
your
is not.
vision,
Yeah, the
their
vision is not
vision is
necessarily what it's right.
They just
Yeah.
won't take no.
Their
for an
vision has to be
answer.
in sync with yours. It can't just be on a whole different lane because then it's like, okay, do your own fashion line then.
I've legit never met anybody like running in the same direction as me.
It's always to the left or to the right, never in the
Yeah,
same
exactly.
area.
Never in between.
All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a 2-minute break so we can switch some cards and do some things, and then we'll be right back.